This is another episode of Shop Talk, and today is very, very special. Y'all don't mind, y'all should be used to Miss Wanda. So today we are celebrating our 1 year anniversary. We officially launched Shop Talk. Y'all, this is gonna be a tripping show because we just like super excited, and already Leslie has already started, but we are celebrating our 1 year anniversary of launching the show. And for those who are unfamiliar with it, yes, consistency is key. Shop Talk was launched based off of me being a customer with Bree, who is not here with us today. She is actually vending at a health event. So I hope it's a successful event for you, Bree. And we miss you, girl, but we love you, and you are here in spirit. Thank you for the beautiful balloons, especially the 1 year. I think I'm gonna take this home.
Yes.
Put this in my car. But quick announcements, then we're going to get into the fun conversation and the recap. So, upcoming date and location to be determined. We have the Protect Our Girls campaign that is scheduling a stand down. So, you will see myself, the founder and owner, Miss Wanda Reed of Protect Our Girls campaign, and you'll also see Miss Leslie Burgess right here in attendance with us. So please make sure you link to us so that we can give you all the details to show up and support. It doesn't cost you anything but a little bit of time and some compassion. Next event on April 23rd, I am one of your 4 guest panelists for the Power of the Crown brunch. Again, that's April 23rd, starts at 7 p.m. One of the topics we will be discussing is domestic violence. And that is leading into the October crowning of your new Curves and Confidence 2023 Queen. As you know, I am your reigning 2021 Curves and Confidence Queen. So I'm looking forward to passing the torch to an amazing woman. And nominations are currently open, and you can cast your vote and or nominate a beautiful, deserving woman at shopkkb.us.org, and I'll post that information again in the recap. So those are all announcements.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I say one more thing, please?
Just one, because I know you be having a
No. So before we get started, I just want to talk about the best experience that I had today when dealing with undergarments. So as you know, my client wanted to look for bras and shapewear. So we went to Fabulous. And that is, what's their location?
6604 Hazelwood Avenue.
Yes.
Baltimore, Maryland.
Miss
Trina
is, look, I'm so excited. Miss Trina is amazing. Her staff is amazing. The service was awesome. If you're looking for bras, proper bra fittings, if you're looking for undergarments, if you're looking for just good customer service in an intimate setting, please go and see Miss Trina over at Fabulous.
Yes.
It was, I'm telling you, y'all, I never wanted to love my boobs so much until I went and visited her. I've been wearing bras wrong for the past almost 50 years, and she truly let me know, hey, exactly, this is how you should be wearing your bras. This is how it should fit. Go and see her. Fabulous.
So we weren't getting our business. You got one on now because you came and acting a brand.
No, girls, I just learned how to wear it properly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's all. That was child. I propped them things up today.
Her posture all different.
Like that too.
And then she kept like zooming in on it. She's like,
yeah, y'all, because it's all about. No, but that's all I wanted to say. So in your free time, or make some time to go over and see Miss Trina, you will never regret going to see her for all of your bra and undergarment needs.
Okay. And that's awesome, because if anyone has been following us, and I know y'all have, then you know, Miss Wanda, we don't support.
I know she was going with weaves.
I do weaves. I
Wanda Reed wears many hats with me. Oh, so we had cookies and wine. Cheers to empowered women. So she's my modeling coach, one of my mentors, my hairstylist, my sister friend. She's also my designer. So just piggybacking on Fabrilis, if you've seen all of the many magazine features of Miss Reed's designs, which is She Reed's Custom Designs, I am wearing that very shapewear. That's got me looking slim and trim in the Art of Illusion, y'all.
It's awesome. It's really awesome.
And I'm going to sip on that because I can't give y'all all my nuggets.
I'm up next.
Well, you not. We're going to take her to Fabrilis.
We're going to have to take you because it is an awesome experience for any lady.
Is just the energy. You're all about energy like we are. You're going to have an amazing experience.
I'm trying to clean it up now.
Oh, okay.
Definitely.
Well, let me just unpack that there, okay? So go ahead and tell people who you are. Or you want us to introduce you?
Yeah, introduce me. Yeah, this y'all show. I'm a guest.
Oh, go ahead. Introduce her.
She's actually not a guest.
I'm a guest.
So today is a recap. This is how I'm going to introduce her. Today is a recap of some of the discussions and shows that stood out most for us individually, and I'm sure our list is going to be totally different. So I just want to start with Ms. Leslie Burgess. I know her in 3 different capacities now. We are colleagues. We have developed a sister friendship. And she has also been a featured guest on the show where she asked us some of the most crazy, funny, embarrassing questions during the interview segment. And you will be seeing her again back on the show in July of this year as she'll be speaking on the issue of the opioid epidemic and overdoses, but we'll save all that plug for a later date. So we welcome you back because we told her on that show, she asked us, are y'all going to have me back? And we said, oh yeah, you family now. Ta-da!
Oh, so now I'm family. Okay.
She a little shy,
Just found
y'all.
out today.
Yeah, I just found out today. I'm family.
So, and the reason why I wanted to start with that show is because when I first met you, Leslie, I call her a little grasshopper, and the reason why is truly a compliment from me, and here's why. Because if you've seen the movie Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi,
Waves on.
and if anyone remembers the resilience of this young man, the endurance, no matter what challenge and feedback Mr. Miyagi gave to that young man, he persevered and he came out to be stronger than what he knew himself to be. And I have had the honor of watching you grow, even with her kicking and screaming, and I don't want to do it, and her crying, like physically crying in front of me.
I'm a crybaby.
To see her wipe them tears and get her second win, even in the midst of those experiences, the chaos, the turmoil, and just what you went through as the year was closing out with the passing of your dad. And I watched you still be a sister friend, a colleague, a mother, a supporter, an advocate. That interview meant the world to me, and I really, to this day, I believe you were the perfect, appropriate person to do it.
Yes, and that was beautiful. But this is a celebration, so we're not going to have her all boo-hooing over here. Like, we done gave you the shoulder rub.
Okay.
Okay, you all right?
Take a sip.
Okay.
You want a
She always
cookie?
trying to bring somebody to tears. Yeah.
That'd be
Have a cookie.
spirit.
You want a cookie?
That'd be the spirit.
Yeah.
That'd be the spirit.
Not the whole thing, baby.
Oh,
I was just saying,
because she loved, Leslie loved her some food.
You want a cookie?
I'll take another glass of this in just a
Right.
minute.
Okay.
So that's my opening up discussion show from 2022 that stood out to me. One.
Amazing. So, I actually loved all of the shows, honestly. Even before I became a co-host, I watched the shows. They were always entertaining and educating to any listener. I really, really like the show where you were talking about, was it one show that you were talking about either men's health or men's,
Emotional state.
yeah, yeah. So I really, really enjoyed that one because even if you didn't have a lot of engagement, there were a lot of men that you actually told me came to you and said, "Hey, I'm glad you're talking about this," because men need that space to be vulnerable as well.
Yeah.
So I like that we are pollinating the world with our truth, and I really appreciate doing that because you never know what we say is going to touch somebody else. So would I actually say that I had a favorite? No, but I think that's the one that stands out the most to me.
Mine is, I think the show when they did about your movie.
Oh, and the silence.
Yeah, I liked that one. It was very informative. I didn't know, not until recently, well, yeah, as I watched the show, I didn't know how prevalent it is just in Baltimore alone, how these girls get hooked up in sex trafficking.
And guys.
And guys too. But how they get lured in, and it's like, yeah, they really chained to the bed. And I don't know, to live where I live at, and to hear like they did a raid around the corner, and that's what the raid was for.
Mm-hmm.
That was also like another touching thing. I didn't never share that with you, but I just found that out like yesterday. Like they did a raid around there, and they found like a house, and it was like the feds or whatever, and that's what it was for. It was for sex trafficking.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's like
It's definitely
real,
prevalent.
right? It's very real. It's very prevalent. Yeah. So like she said, women, young women, children, boys. Yeah, you have to be very watchful and be very observant when it comes to situations like that.
And I applaud Wanda's strength. I had the most uncomfortable yet honoring privilege to watch her somewhat birth and develop the whole platform of Protect Our Girls campaign. And when I tell you all, she did it tirelessly, she did it effortlessly, and she did it without any backing and or support from many. And she didn't bat an eye, she didn't lose any sleep, she didn't stop moving, whether people supported her or not. I would be in a room sleep and she would still be up brainstorming and getting things together, and no matter how uncomfortable it was, and through that uncomfortability I'm referencing is not even her closest family and friends was willing to accept that this was something that's real, this actually happened. And she caught backlash behind that, but she never stopped. And to this day, she continues, whether it's just her, two, or whatever, she keeps going. So if you're not already following the Protect Our Girls campaign page, please make sure you tap into that. On her show, we ended 2022 on a very uncomfortable, taboo note. But I thought it was very fitting because there was a house in 22 that in Glen Burnie, they raided, and this was a well-known doctor.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That was trafficking, had all them women, and it's amazing how, depending on your social or economic status in the community, you literally miss the opportunity to be a change agent and make a difference. And there was recently in the news where a woman in a community, not here in the local Maryland area, but in the Virginia area, she noticed something was a bit odd when she would be walking her dog.
Yeah.
And the dog, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And the dog would be barking, so she stopped walking
Walking that
past
way.
his house. And then all of a sudden, she was like, you know what? Something is not right. The dog kept barking. And that prompted this lady, something within her spirit, her intuition. She activated the police system, and they had all these young ladies, young girls.
And see, that's actually what the bystander rule says that we should do. Because a lot of times we think because we're a bystander, it's not much that we can do. Oh, they're going to want to get my name. They're going to want to get my information. Mm-hmm. What I want everybody to know, just while we're on that subject, is the fact that just like, even with 9/11, if you see something, say something, that should be a part of our lives and the structuring of us as humans anyway.
Right.
If we see something, we should say something. If we believe something, we should say something. And absolutely, if we know something, we should say something. Because at the end of the day, it's not up to us to say whether a person is guilty or innocent. It's just up to us to have the moral compass to report it. Correct. And then let the organizations do their job.
Right.
Okay, I'm done.
A fun one that I enjoyed was Shop Talk. Don't keep this thing just locally in the Baltimore area. I traveled to Miami and did a live segment titled Battle of the Sexes without only at that time in year 22 brave male brave enough to go toe-to-toe with a woman. It had nothing to do with me, but go toe-to-toe with a woman. And we decided to do that when I reached out to him. Was like, hey, y'all keep getting on your soapbox talking about black women don't support men that hold doors. We don't know how to accept chivalry. We don't even know what we want far as dating. So I called him out on it. And what was funny about that one, it was supposed to be two other guys. And one is my frat brother that did not show up. And I know you watching today. Shame on you, Fred. Shame on you for not showing up. And I was disappointed when I got there, and he was like, it's just going to be me. And I said, well, what happened to the other two guys that had all this vocalness online or whatever? And he's like, I don't know. And what stood out most for me was that through conversation, people call it conflict, but there's some beautiful things that come out of confrontation and or conflict. There's an opportunity to bridge gaps that are there. There is an opportunity to learn a different perspective, to provide a different perspective, and there's also an opportunity to understand one's individual self as well as that of others.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we talked about dating, we talked about matriarchal versus patriarchal, we talked about how men do or don't feel uncomfortable if they make lesser money than a woman. So it was insightful. So I applaud you, Mr. Dwayne, for being brave, and we're gonna do it again.
I was just going to say,
we're gonna do it again, but I might take me some backup this time because he actually made some good points. But in an hour, like most of our shows, an hour is just not enough time to thoroughly and concisely unpack things that's going on. So that was another one of my favorites. Battle of the Sexes. Yeah. Part 2 was coming.
I don't have my notes. What else we got?
So we started out March the 5th of 22. We officially launched, and we started out talking about the power of healing.
Before we go there, just off the top of my head, I think y'all did a show about friendships.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little about that one? Because I saw it partially, but there was another co-host, and she actually did a wonderful job with that as well. But I don't remember exactly what it was about fully, but it was interesting.
So the previous co-host was Mia Cofield. However, life kicks in, as we all know, so she stepped away. So it would have been 4 of us. It would have been myself, Wanda Reed, Mia Cofield, as well as Miss Bree. But again, Mia Cofield had to step away. And we decided to talk about friendship, and we talked about different parts of that friendship. And we used our friendship as the segue into the conversation of how, in order to even be a friend, which was my whole perspective on it, I had to somewhat, and I wrote a whole blog on it that was featured, I had to lose myself to find myself, because I haven't always known how to be a friend. And through trial and error, my own personal experiences, we had to learn how to do that. We talked about challenges. Some of the challenges she and I had received with our friendship is that oftentimes people thought I was the gay one pursuing her.
So weird. So weird.
Yeah, so which was really funny. It was emotional initially when it happened, as you can imagine, but they saw me as being the gay one attracted to Mia because my type of friendship and love for people, I guess, is foreign. I'm that friend that if I'm used to you sounding, dressing, looking, acting a certain way, and you're not like that or something sounds off, I'm like, what's going on?
The same way I do you.
I'm that friend, right? I'm that friend that if you're in need, I'm a fix-it person. Even at work, I'm a fix-it. I don't like to stay stuck. It's like, okay, you're in need. This is what you need. This is how I can support, or this is how I can help. And that was always challenged and turned into something distasteful. I remember I competed in a pageant, and there was a picture that someone captured of she and I. She was my stage escort for the final round of the pageantry for the gown. And we went through a whole series of workshops, and they told you how to poisely, disengage once you escorted the person. And for us, it was a gentle, I called it like a little English type French kiss where they go mwah, mwah, on the cheek. So someone captured that picture, and during her birthday, I remember I posted that was one of the pictures in the picture collage that I put together. And someone very close to her called her and told her they were calling them, saying she looked like a lesbian in a picture. So they took something that was very innocent, very important to me, because it was a lot of emotional reasons why I even decided to do the pageant, and turned it into something dirty. So when we look at friendships, even in today, you first have to know what are your limitations in being an appropriate friend. You also have to have open communication, as I said in that discussion, of what are your expectations of me and what are your limitations, because it's about respect in any situation, any relationship, and I'm always gonna violate them if you've never told me what they are, or I run the risk. Maybe I should say it frame it that way. You always run the risk of violating it if there's been no effective two-way communication. And a lot came out in that hurtful stuff came out in that discussion, because I don't think when people don't know how to value a friendship, they have no frame of reference of what a healthy friendship looks like. Then everything that is embodied of that is turned into something negative. And it is sad to say is that our friendship ran its course. And I don't mind saying that on this show, because I'm also that friend that I never want you to feel like you have to choose. And if I think for 1 minute you have to choose, I'll bow out gracefully. So I have bowed out gracefully. So for anyone who played a part in that,
shame on you.
Shame on you. And it was not an easy decision.
Well, you know me. I think a lot of things in life can be solved through, maybe not solved and resolved through effective communication. From a personal and friendship point of view, I think there is a conversation that needs to be had, because I still think that there is some remnant left to the friendship. But that can be discussed another time off screen and with you too, girl, because I know you probably can see this. But I think a lot of times with friendships, we always expect so much out of the other person, and then sometimes, there's no reciprocity, and there should be. And that's whether you're making me laugh, whether you're making me cry because you care about me so much, whether you would go to the ends of the earth to make sure that I'm safe. I had a friend one time, I didn't hear from her and I thought something was going on. I sent the police to her house because, I was afraid for her, but I was afraid for her. And that's just the kind of, I put myself all in all into a friendship, and then sometimes that's to a fault. So we have to recognize when to hold and when to fold, because it's a very important balance that we have to have. But I do look at friendship differently because I think it's cultural as well. What friendships have you had that have lasted the test of time? Or, you're talking about the kiss, the French kiss or whatever, cheek to cheek. But in other countries, they greet each other that way. Men greet each other that way. Women greet each other that way. And in some places, they kiss one another in the mouth. And we're so homophobic in this country and in this day and time that we don't even realize or recognize true friendship. And that's really, really sad. It's really sad, but next.
I purposely didn't write that one down, but if you're watching, I think you are. I miss you. I still love you. And if ever there's a time that you're really, really in need, you have my number. And that's my friendship. Just because I bowed out so that there can be peace there for you does not mean that my love stopped. God.
Sippy sip.
Okay, next show. Oh, wow.
Now she'll see how to do it.
That's terrible.
No, we leave our napkins.
If y'all
I was, but
You
now I'm
just
getting
leave,
another
girl.
cookie,
You
so I
just
can't
leave.
say nothing.
So
As well. I told you that conversation needs to be had, and it will in due time.
God will have his way
You know.
in the midst of it.
Godspeed. Godspeed.
One of our second shows that stand out the most to me, we talked about trauma and healing from trauma. And it was so amazing because the topic, we talked about toxic and narcissistic persons and behavior and the damage that you're happy about your cookie because you're swinging your leg. Oh, she likes food, y'all. It's okay. They're used to us being unscripted. And right after that conversation, someone that was in a private group with me as I was healing from my own situation, they tuned into that show, and the inbox message I received from them, and I shared it with Bree and Mia, was that day after watching the show, they left their traumatic 32-year relationship, and I was so super excited to see and learn about 2 months ago that they are still doing good. So if you're tuning in, you know who you are. I'll send you a message after this show. I'm so super proud of you. I am so super proud of you. And in that decision, you activated and or took back your power. Please don't look back. I am only a phone call or inbox message away. And I really, really love that we are unscripted and we're very transparent appropriately, because I think people, when we watch, I know for me, when I watch talk shows and I'm listening to people talk, even if I go and talk to a therapist, the first thing that's going through my mind is, can you really relate? Because the first thing people say is, I understand.
I want to piggyback off of that because you said, I don't know if it was male or female, but I want men to know that that can work in the reverse. We always think that men are the narcissists or men are the controlling one. It can be flipped the other way.
Absolutely.
Women can be narcissists, women can be controlling, and women can put holds on men too and have men in toxic relationships that they don't want to be in for the craziest reasons. Same thing as if for men. So I just want people to say that part, right?
And I'm glad you did that, because I do a lot of content sharing and posting about that, and I am very intentional about making sure I include both men and women, and I'm intentional about putting men first in that inclusion and then women follow, because often, just like domestic violence, you know, we pretty much as a society, we shame them. And then we wonder why they're so angry and why they're so bitter and why they have trust issues to women. But that's why, because they're looked upon totally different even at child rearing up age, I've seen where parents are yelling at little boys if he hurt himself or he doesn't like something and he's crying. Oh, stop crying like a little girl. And you do psychological and emotional damage to that child and to that person when you devalue their feelings, and then we see them as adult men and adult women, and we wonder why they are so desensitized from certain things.
Right, and just to piggyback off of that, we don't love piggybacking, but yeah. So just to piggyback off of that, that was good that you mentioned that, especially as a child, because when those things happen to you as a child, when you're being spoken to in an emotionally abusive way, when you're going through any sort of abuse at all, sometimes it doesn't manifest itself right then. But some people aren't healthy enough and strong enough to purge that as they get older, because they still see themselves in that child's body. Right. And it's hard for them to get the healing that they need because of what they went through. So it really does damage you, especially even more so emotionally, because your scars will heal if it's physical, right? But that emotional stuff, it goes on and on and on. And it's not just in the Black community. It's not just in the white community. I was talking to somebody online, and she was Asian. And, oh my gosh, it's even worse. Yeah, some of the stuff that she told me, it was even worse for them. So when we're going through it, we always feel like we're the only ones. It's not happening to anybody else. So for anybody that's listening, even if you do find yourself in any sort of abusive relationship, emotional, financial, because they can abuse you financially as well, physical, sexual, whatever it is, you are not alone in it. And it's easy for us to say leave. Right. That's an easy thing for us to say because we're not the ones that's in it. But I just want you to know first and foremost that 1, you're not alone. 2, you can seek help. There are people out there who care. There are people out there that you can talk to. Just know that if you reach out to someone will help. Someone will listen. They'll take you seriously. And if you're around people who aren't taking you seriously, they shouldn't be a part of your circle. I want you to be strong enough to walk away from them.
Absolutely. And before we talk about one of my other favorite discussions, I just want to say that we have really taken accountability for being our brother's keepers, so much so that coming up in the month of June, we have a male guest that is going to be talking about mental health and wellness. It can be applied to both men and women, but the focus is going to be for men. Yes. So please make sure you share that. I'll be sharing the flyer for that discussion on all my platforms. If you really want women and just people as a whole to understand and hear the male's voice, you have to get a little bit of courage. And I understand that it's hard to be transparent and say, hey, this particular uncomfortable thing happened to me. But with us, you don't even have to say what happened. You can just say, nobody really acknowledges my emotions. We're here to guide you. And as a behavior health professional, I sit across a desk or sit on the phone and talk to people and go in the community and talk to both men, women, all ages. And it breaks my heart to see them so far in their adult milestone of life trying to regroup and heal from suppressed trauma, because it affects your overall quality of life. So again, that discussion is going to be had in June of 2023. And my next one we've had some pretty cool ones in 22. Oh my goodness. We had I think I know what you're going to say.
What am I going to say?
I don't want to say it. I want you to say it because I don't want to be wrong.
Okay. So my favorite was...
I thought you didn't have a favorite. That's what you said. Got her, y'all. Got her.
Okay, this is definitely my favorite, y'all. Because I wasn't really a co-host yet. So I was just coming, to show some support. But it was, when I got that facial, girl. Oh my God. What was that? Beneath the Skin?
Beauty is Skin Deep, which was the title of that, but it is her business, Miss Katrina, is Beneath the Skin. So go ahead and talk about, because I was some type of jealous.
Yes,
she was sleeping everything.
When I tell you, she did a deep exfoliation. She did a what was it? A mineral mask. She did the face massage.